This one right here is the Poco M6 Pro smartphone. A budget smartphone like all Poco smartphones are, but this one comes with a 64 megapixel main camera, a long battery life, and a very cool design. So I guess let's start with the review and let's start with the unboxing. Alright, right here we have the yellow and black box in which we will find the Poco M6 Pro. I got the black version of it, but you can also get it in the colors blue and purple. In the extra package, we will get the quick starting guide, a SIM card remover, and what I really like the most is the extra silicone case. That's one of the standard things that you always get with a Poco smartphone. As for last, all the way at the bottom, you will find a 67 watts fast charging brick and a matching USB Type-C cable. Now up to the specs and to the design. The Poco M6 Pro has a pretty cool backside. Now there is this upper black grayish element with the triple lens setup and the lower all black element. As for the camera, you will get a 64 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization. There's an 8 megapixel ultra wide shooter and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Now I gotta say that the cameras stick out by quite a bit and the phone wiggles around if you lay it flat on its back. You get two physical buttons on the side which are very clicky, so that's how they sound like. Now, if you flip the phone around, you got a big 6.67 inch display with Corning Gorilla Glass 5 and a plastic frame. Plus, it is just IP54 splash and dust resistant, so better take a step back if you get close to the water. Now, like I said, you get a 6.67 inch AMOLED display with a refresh rate of 120 Hz. Now, this one can also be trimmed down to just 60 Hz if you want to save a little bit of your battery life, or you can just leave it in the auto mode to do the same thing. You got 1080p resolution and all of your movies and animes will look more than good enough for your daily usage. Colors look poppy, especially since you can change the color scheme. By default it is set to vivid, but you can also change it to saturated or standard. Also the small selfie camera at the top don't really get in the way, plus you get very small bezels all around the phone, which makes the phone look a little bit more premium. You also got an always on display mode with plenty of customization options, like you can change signatures, analog and digital clocks, and even get a few selected backgrounds. As for audio, we get a stereo speaker setup with Dolby Atmos and even an equalizer with different presets and sliders. Now the Poco M6 Pro does get loud and the quality of it is also decent. The coolest thing is that you even get a 3.5mm headphone jack on the top of the phone. And the first thing that we get is a little pack with all of the paper stuff, the SIM card removal. As for the battery life, the Poco M6 Pro has a big 5000 mAh battery cramped inside, which will give you about 7 to 8 hours of on-screen time, and you will still have some battery life left at the end of the night and for the next morning. Also, the charging speed of the phone is great. The 67 watts fast charger charges this phone from 0 all the way up to 100% in just about 45 minutes. Unfortunately, this phone doesn't come with wireless or reverse wireless charging. Alright, next up to the features in the MiUI 14. So we should get HyperOS in the near future, but right now we are stuck to the MiUI. So first up, the fingerprint sensor. You will find this underneath the screen, right in the middle, and I guess this one works just fine. You even get some animations if you want to, like a starlight, a neon light, a butterfly and stuff like that. And you also have a face detection, and this one works just as good. As for the storage options, you can decide between a 256 gig version, which I have right here, or a bigger one, a 512 gig version. If you take a look into the storage settings, you can see that about 22 gigs are already used up by the system and the system files. What I don't really like are all of the extra apps that you get on this phone, like AliExpress, Booking.com, Bubble Shooter, and a lot more. There are at least 5 to 10 apps that you can delete right away. The Poco M6 Pro, it has gesture shortcuts, like you can slide your fingers down on the display to take quick screenshots. You can also take partial screenshots if you hold your 3 fingers on the screen for a second. And then you can draw different forms, which will be your screenshot afterwards. And if you double press the power button, you will turn off and on the flashlight. Of course, you also get things like a normal one-handed mode, which is always a nice thing to have on a smartphone. With the 6.67 inch display, there are floating windows. We can even check our heart rate, and it does seem to work alright. And there are even more features like a second space and an enterprise mode. Now over to the performance and the gaming. In your daily use, the Poco M6 Pro is doing a good job. You can swipe on the screen, open up apps and do whatever you want without a problem. Now the problem starts if you want to play some games. I tested Genshin Impact on this bugger and it didn't do too good. I started in the low graphics settings without the game booster and it was lagging by quite a bit. With the game booster, it was doing a much better job, but even with the game booster, you will not be able to play on a high or the highest graphics settings. It will definitely lag like this. Now, like I just mentioned, with the help of the game booster, you can enable the high performance mode, but you can also open up floating windows like Facebook, WhatsApp or others. You get a voice changer, D&D mode, or you can take screenshots or screen record during your gaming sessions. As for last, let's take a look at the cameras. So you got a triple lens setup with a 64 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization. There's an 8 megapixel auto wide shooter and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Now the selfie cam can take pictures with 60 megapixel and the videos with 1080p and 60 fps. The main camera is doing not that much better. There is no 4K resolution on here and just 1080p with again 60 fps. On the Poco you will also get a few camera modes like a portrait and night mode, a 64 megapixel mode, panorama, slow-mo and short film. Now I think this phone takes some pretty good portrait shots if it's me with the selfie cam or my cats when I'm using the main camera. You get a clear separation between the subject and the background, plus you can even change the background blurriness on both with the slider. As for your normal pictures, the M6 Pro is once again not bad at all. They are certainly good enough for some quick snaps to share with your friends. I think they are more on the dark side of things and not as bright as other pictures, plus the colors look more natural and not as vivid or saturated. If you change over to the auto wide angle lens, the colors pretty much stay the same and just the detail if you zoom in are not as sharp anymore. Now I also took a quick selfie video, so here we go. Alright, so let's test the selfie camera, and actually this one is just as good as the main camera. On both you can only record on a maximum of 1080p with 60 frames per second. I mean, you can trim it down to 30 fps or 720, but why would you do that? But I think it still looks pretty alright. And guys, there we have it. That's the Poco M6 Pro 5G smartphone. Now if you like that video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tech reviews. And I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.